Hello children, today we will learn about an English lesson of NCERT of Class 6, Chapter 1. Who did Patrick's homework? This story is about a boy who was not willing to do his homework, and we can see a small elf helping the boy complete his homework. Before we start the lesson, do you like homework? Do you do it yourself or do you get help from someone? What homework do you do usually? Well, while you're thinking about these answers, let us see what Patrick has to do when it comes to doing his homework. Who did Patrick's homework? By Carol Moore. Patrick did not want to do his homework, never did his homework. Too boring, he said. He played hockey and basketball and Nintendo instead. His teachers told him, Patrick, do your homework or you won't learn a thing. And it's true, sometimes he did feel like an ignoramus. But what could he do? He hated homework. So this boy Patrick, he never wanted to do homework. He always felt it was boring. He wanted to play hockey and basketball or a video game called Nintendo. His teachers warned him that he has to learn, otherwise he'll become an ignorant person. Even Patrick thought the same sometimes. Then one day, he found his cat playing with a little doll and he grabbed it away. To his surprise, it wasn't a doll at all, but a man of the tiniest size. So what happened? He saw his cat playing with a small doll. He grabbed the toy from the cat. To his surprise, it wasn't a toy. What was it? It was a small man of the tiniest size. And how was the tiniest man dressed up? He had a little wool shirt with old-fashioned breeches and a high, tall hat, much like a witch's. He yelled, "Save me! Don't give me back to that cat. I'll grant you a wish, I promise you that." So this small elf was dressed up with a wool shirt and fashion breeches, which is nothing but short trousers. And he was wearing a high, tall hat like that of a witch. And he started shouting in Patrick's hands, "Please save me, don't give me back to the cat. If you save my life, I'm going to give you one wish. I will try to fulfill one wish of yours," said the elf. Patrick couldn't believe how lucky he was. Here was the answer to all his problems. So he said, "Only if you do all my homework till the end of the semester. That is 35 days. If you do a good enough job, I could even get A's." So what did Patrick think? Patrick thought he can take the help of the elf to complete his homework. For how long? For 35 complete days, the whole semester of the school. And after completing his homework, he would even get A grades in his classroom. The little man's face wrinkled like a dishcloth thrown in the hamper. He kicked his legs and doubled his fist, and he grimaced and scowled and pursed his lips. "Oh, I am cursed, but I'll do it." So what are these words, grimaced, scowled and pursed his lips? These are the facial expressions one shows when they are angry, when they are asked to do something which they are not willing to do. So this little elf unwillingly agreed to do Patrick's homework. Why? Because Patrick had saved his life. And true to his words, that little elf began to do Patrick's homework. Except there was one glitch. The elf did not always know what to do and he needed help. Help me, he would say. And Patrick would have to help in whatever way. As per the promise of the elf, he started helping Patrick in completing his homework. But the small elf did not understand the meaning of some words. So whenever he used to get stuck in completing Patrick's homework, he would call Patrick and ask his help to complete the homework. "I don't know this word," the elf squeaked while reading Patrick's homework. "Get me a dictionary." "No, what's even better, look up the word and sound it by each letter." So what did Patrick do after elf have told him? that he did not understand the homework, he had to go get a dictionary, understand the word, read it himself, and make Elf understand what is there in the dictionary, and then Elf would help him in completing his homework. When it came to maths, Patrick was out of luck. What are timetables? The elf shrieked. We elves never do that. And addition and subtraction, and division and fractions. Here, sit down beside me. You simply must guide me. So when it came to maths, Elf was even more confused about additions, subtractions, divisions and fractions. In their world of elves, they never used to do any maths. So the elf called Patrick and asked him to sit beside him, explain him and guide him in understanding how to do the problems of maths. Elves know nothing of human history. To them it's a mystery. So the little elf, already a shouter, just got louder. Go to the library. I need books. More and more books. And you can help me read them too. So when it came to history, even Elf did not understand history. He asked Patrick to help him understand what is there in the history book. He asked Patrick to go and get more books from the library to understand what is there in the history books, maths, English, every subject. As a matter of fact, every day in every way that little elf was a nag. Patrick was working harder than ever, and was it a drag? He was staying up nights. He never felt so weary. Was going to school with his eyes puffed and bleary. So what happened? Because Patrick was helping Elf in understanding all the subjects, he used to spend lot of time waking up in the nights, helping the elf completing his own homework. So the next day when he used to go to school, his eyes were puffed and blurry. When we don't have enough sleep, our eyes become swollen and red, right? So the same way Patrick felt he was nagging. Who was nagging? The elf was nagging. He started complaining, Elf started complaining that he wouldn't understand English, maths, history, etc. So he started doing all this uninteresting work, helping the elf complete his own homework. Finally, the last day of the school arrived, and the elf was free to go. As for homework, there was no more. So he quietly and slyly slipped out of the back door. So what happened? 35 days have passed, and Elf have finished helping Patrick to do his homework, and without anybody's notice, secretively the elf slipped out of Patrick's house, and he left Patrick's house. Patrick got his A's. His classmates were amazed. His teachers smiled and were full of praise, and his parents, they wondered what happened to Patrick. He was now the model kid. Cleaned his room, did his course, was cheerful, never rude, like he had developed a whole new attitude. So what happened? After the 35 days period was over, Patrick has finished his homework with the help of Elf. He got A grade in his class. All his classmates were surprised and looking at Patrick, so surprised that, such a boy, he's become a model kid. Model kid, everyone follows a student who gets A grade, who's the class topper, right? So everybody started looking at Patrick in the class with amazing eyes. And not only that, his teachers were praising Patrick for the excellent work done by him. And even his parents were very happy with Patrick. He started cleaning his room, did his chores. Chores are the everyday's work what we daily do in the house, like arranging your books, arranging your cupboard or the closet with your belongings, keeping your playing stuff in the right place, etc. And now, after doing all this, he developed a new whole attitude. Whole new attitude. What does that mean? It's a manner, or it is a way where you do your things. So you see, in the end, Patrick still thought he did made that tiny man do all his homework. But I'll share a secret just between you and me. It wasn't Elf. Patrick had done it himself. Now tell me, children, who has done the homework? Is it Elf or Patrick himself? Yes, you're right. Patrick did himself. He actually did all the learning by referring to books in the library. He even did maths. After all this, Patrick thought he was helping the elf in doing his own homework. But actually, he did it himself. And how did this help Patrick? All this helped Patrick in becoming a good student in the class.